So welcome back. Um,
Thanks.
I think yesterday we looked at quite a lot of things.
No,
Just as a recap, we looked at forms. We looked at the different types of inputs that can be there. There was text, there was number, there was email, there was color, there was file. Then we looked at things like buttons like submit and reset. Then we looked like at select and also text area. And I believe we looked at also form methods, that is get and post, and the action attribute, how the form gets processed, or rather where the form is being sent for purposes of processing. Yeah, I want to believe that was our agenda for yesterday.
yeah,
And I think I give you a task that you can try out so that you can see how you can put together whatever we have learned so far, which is pretty interesting. So
yeah,
today, I want us to look at three things. We're going to look at what we call iframes. Then we're also going to look at, besides iframes rather, we will look at multimedia, how we can work with multimedia
yeah,
inside HTML. Then after multimedia, I think we will go to um, uh, special elements like what we call block level elements and
yeah,
inline level elements so that we see
yeah.
how they work out. Then I think if we have time, we can look at HTML special characters. These are things like the @ symbol, the pound symbol, the $ sign symbol, and that kind of stuff. Huh?
So,
So yes, I think
uh,
that will form our agenda for today. And
yeah,
without further ado, I think let's just get straight into it.
it's not presenting the Google Meet.
Yes, yes, I'm not presented yet. Is what I'm trying to do right now.
Oh, okay.
I want to believe that right now it is presenting.
Let me see. Yeah,
Okay, so we are on day 4.
yeah,
So I'll create a new file. I'll call it day04.html. So I'll put exclamation sign. It will fill in Emmet. And today I want us to discuss special characters. I also wanted to look at multimedia. Then I also want us to look at what we call iframes. Um, Anything else that we might use today? Yeah, I think we need can also look at block level and span level element. This is going to prove useful later on into the future. So this is our agenda for today. So here I'll put a comment. Let's start with our first element, which is special characters. Special characters. Now, if you look at some websites, you'll find that they use special characters like the $ sign, like the greater than, like the euro. I don't have euro here, like copyright. So these are things that you cannot output directly on the screen, and they are meant for special character things like trademark and copyright or things like that. So these are characters that you might want to use on your site, and the purpose of this is to show us how to use them. The special characters are important because there are things like also emojis. When you have to use emojis, these are also special characters. So again, they enhance the look and feel of our website, so they might be very handy for us to be able to use. Now, I don't know so many of them right at the top of my head, but I can show us a resource where we can find them. Then we can see how to use it. Of course, I know the ones that we use often. That, for example, let's say I want to display currency. If I want to display currency, so let me say here, display currency. So if I had something like maybe a H5 here, and I say price of the item, then I have a small label here, Let me just say item name, maybe say blue band, or maybe say laptop. Then I can put a paragraph here. I can say HP um, 8160 P Intel Core i5 500 GB SSD and say 16 GB RAM. Then down here, I want to indicate the price, and I want the price to be maybe say euros or dollars. Then I'll put something like 25, 250 rather, 89, something of the sort. Now, if I run this on my browser, I'll put them side by side. So you can see I have that. Now, dollar is good, but what if I wanted to put euro? How would you put euro or any other currency? We'll use special characters, and these special characters, and these special characters and symbols, you can find them here. So you can see, for example, I have a few here. Let me go to, do I have currencies? Yeah, I have currencies here. So these are currencies. So if I want euro, this is pound. Euro should be letter E. Why is euro? Euro is here. So you can see euro is should be written like this. So if I wanted to write euro, I'd put and euro like that. So instead of this dollar sign, I'd put ampersand
You,
euro semicolon. So if I go back to my site, you'll see now it displays it in euros. Okay.
yeah,
Again, I don't have these things right at the top of my head, so I can't remember all of them. And by the way, you can also use their decimal equivalents like this. You can still use decimal equivalent or even the hex for it, but I prefer to use the special the name. So if there was any other currency that I wanted to do that was not part of what I have, then I'll be able to pick it from here. So if I want, do we have Kenya shillings here? We don't have Kenya shillings, but we have pound. We have pound. Pound is here, and I think it's called and a pound. It's here. So if I put pound, you can see it puts the British pound. Okay.
yeah,
So that's how you use the special character. Now there are so many. For example, you might want to put copyright at the bottom of our page. So I can have here footer. Then inside the footer, I want to create copyright. So if I want to create copyright, I'll put and copy like that. So I'll say copyright. You can see now it has put copyright. The C copy 2025 Technical University of Kenya. All rights reserved. Something like that. So you can see now it puts for me copyright. Okay. If I wanted to
yeah,
put trademark, if took was a trademark, I'll simply put here and trade like that. So it will put took. Took is now a trademark. So you get the idea of how we work with these special characters. Okay.
yeah,
And there are so many. I don't know them right at the top of my head, but there are currency, there is copyright, there is trademark, and a host of so many of them which you can be able to find in this documentation over here. So just go back a bit. So there's this one you can see registered trademark. If I want to put registered trademark, I'll put reg. Registered trademark should be reg. This, yeah. So you can see I have all of them here. If I wanted to put arrows and those kind of things, I can't be able to find the references from here. Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to believe I don't want to concentrate so much on the special characters, but then again, there are those other special characters that you might want to use. For example, I know now modern browsers, so special characters that have a meaning in HTML. For example, the greater than symbol is how we start our tag, isn't it?
Yeah.
The less than symbol is what how we end our tag and stuff like that. So what would happen if I wanted to put the greater than symbols? Now modern browsers, the good thing with them is that they allow me to do that. But if you were to use an older browser, then it probably will display other things altogether. It will assume that whatever you're typing is part of HTML, and as such, it will try to put that as part of HTML and not the actual symbol. So if I wanted to put the actual symbol of greater than, I would simply say here if I wanted to say choose an option here, so I'll say and, then I'll say less than, which is LT. That will mean the less than symbol. Choose an option. Then I can put another one and greater than, which is GT. Then I enclose it like that. That will mean it will put less than symbol, choose one, greater than symbol. So if I come back here, you're going to see it has less than, choose an option, greater than. So these are the things we're referring to as now the HTML special characters. They have some sort of a meaning as far as HTML is concerned. And as you can see, they also have a semicolon attached to them. So the semicolon is part of the name of the HTML entity or special character. So you can see all of them have a semicolon at the end. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's okay now?
Yeah.
You want to try it out?
Yeah.
Please do. And I hope you're finding this interesting and useful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, it's
Yes,
okay.
that's okay, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are special characters. So now let's look at iframes. Now, iframes are important because they allow us to display other pages inside our website. Say, for example, if I wanted to create a page and I wanted to embed Google inside my page, what I would do is I would use an iframe. Okay,
Yeah.
let me show you practically how it works. Say, for example, well, I can remove all this so that they don't. It's going to be a problem. Well, let me just put an iframe down here. So let's say I want to put a window down here where somebody can search from Google with it directly. So what I'll do here, I'll put iframe, which is a tag on its own. Then from iframe, sorry, there are two things that you can do. You can specify, you can say there the iframe is added automatically. So um, um, uh, uh, and it does not look good. But nonetheless, I'll put my iframe over there. Once I have my iframe, I can specify the source and the title. So the source is what I want to display inside there. Okay.
Yeah.
The title is the title I want for the iframe, like that. So if I do that and I put a source here like Google, https www.google.com, then I can say search Google. So once I save this and I refresh this, you'll see I don't know it's refusing to connect to Google. Um, well, ideally it should connect to Google. Ideally it should connect to Google. But let me say, for example, I have a page on my computer. I have a program. It's on localhost HR payroll. This one is inside my computer, and even this localhost. So you can see it's actually showing the website of that page of mine. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is mine. I don't know why it's refusing to show Google. I think it's something called the course or cross origin. Let me just see. Do I have course extension here? No, I don't have any course extension. But there's something called cross origin request signing. I think that is what is preventing me from showing data from a different site. But you get the idea. Okay.
Yeah.
So here,
Yes.
what you could do is you could change the width to something like maybe 400 pixels. That becomes wide, and I can change the height to something like 600 pixels, like that. So you can now see my application is displaying nicely, and I can actually use it. By the way, it's actually usable. It's not that it only logs in. So you can see technically I am able to use this application right from inside your browser. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is what iframes do. Of course, I know it doesn't look nice yet over here because it has not been configured for a mobile device, but you get the idea. Now, the good thing about iframes, as you can see, it allows us to be able to display other websites or other resources inside them. That makes it very, very powerful. So it means that I can integrate other services. Maybe say I want to integrate payment service via M-Pesa. I can incorporate M-Pesa here directly. Okay. Or
Yeah.
if I wanted to do something like integrate Stripe or even Google search or things like that, then an iframe would help me to achieve that. Now the best thing about iframe is I can remove this border. I can remove this border. It doesn't look very nice. So actually let me put a paragraph here. The border doesn't look very nice. So if you want to remove the border, we can come here and add a style. And by the way, you can still use style to specify the height and the width. So if you wanted to
Yeah.
specify to change the style, you to change the width and the height using style, This is what you do. I would maybe mask this. Actually, it's this portion. Okay. Hiyo naharibu kabisa, so let me just remove them. So I can remove this and add a style property here. And this style, I'll give it two properties. I'll give it width, and I'll say width is 400 pixels, and I'll give it a height of 700 pixels. Well, 700 is too big, but you get the idea. So maybe say 500. So you get the idea. So you can see I can be able to still use style to provide height and width, even though they are also property as far as it goes. Now, what I'm just trying to say is I can use inbuilt styles to be able to style my width. What was important was I want to remove these borders. So for you to remove that border, I can simply come here and say there's a style called border, and I change it to none. So as you can see, that border has collapsed and it has actually gone away. Okay?
Yeah.
So when it comes to iframes, you can also style them however you want using the inbuilt styles. Okay?
Yeah.
You want to try that out?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Maybe your browser might work if it has cause enabled. Mine doesn't have cause enabled, so I think that's why it was refusing to load the sites that are outside my domain. I want to
Okay.
maybe yours should be able to work. My machine has a lot of configurations that could actually be causing an issue.
Oh, okay.
You're at home or you're in school?
At home.
Okay. I hope you don't have inconveniences at home where people are
Yeah.
disturbing you.
No, no, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week I'll be available so we can have physical if you like physical, that is.
Okay.
Yes. Any success?
Yeah, but it's telling me unable to connect.
Or it's giving you the same issue?
Yeah,
I think it's something to do with course. So let me just try this. It's Google. It refuses to connect. Why is that? Okay, now I can't. Okay, I can't troubleshoot it from here. But I want to believe it's something to do with course,
yeah,
cross origin request sharing. I'll probably give you a solution on how to solve that.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
but up to that point, that is actually okay, isn't it?
yeah,
So that is how we use iframe. So besides iframe, we can also have multimedia embedded in our page. So multimedia are things that are not text. So
yeah,
they are photos, audio, music, podcasts, okay,
yeah,
movies, and you can go on and on and on, right?
yeah,
So HTML allows us to be able to also support these kinds of things. I think we looked at how to work with images during our next the class before the last one. We discussed how we can use photos, how we can use them as links, how we can center them, how we can cover them. Isn't it? I
yeah,
don't know if we looked at effects on photos, how we can make them black and white, and all that kind of stuff. That we should be able to handle when you're looking at HTML. But in a nutshell, inside our website, we're going to display more things than just text. Okay?
yeah,
So when you're talking about more things than just text, then that means that this is now in the realm of multimedia. So we have two types of multimedia. Of course, we support images, but also support audio and video as far as HTML is concerned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some two videos, then I'll put them inside my folder so that we use them for purposes of experimentation, right?
yeah,
So I have a folder here called I have a folder called visual programming, and inside this visual programming, I have this multimedia folder here. So I'll take this multimedia folder, I'll copy it, and I will add it to our project, which is web design short course, where it's on .c. Web design short course, where is it? Okay. I can even come to Visual Studio Code here, then come to files here, then paste them directly. Okay, it's not pasting, so web design short course where you so web design short course, where is it? Oh, it's under my documents. Okay,
yeah,
so documents, web design short course. So I'll put them inside here. Okay.
yeah,
Usually, this is how you organize your assets. So you try to put things together in folders that make something. So you can see images. I put them under images. Now, when it comes to multimedia, I'm trying to put multimedia separate. Okay.
yeah,
So when it comes to multimedia, um, the first they are not they are not supported by all the browsers at the moment. Some browsers support up to certain levels, and others support more advanced level. Like I know Chrome supports quite a bit of multimedia. Okay,
yeah,
so let's dive straight into how we can embed audios in our file. So let's say I wanted to play an audio on my website. So what I would do is I'll start with the audio rather, um, uh, tag. Then from the audio, I can be able to specify what I want to put on my audio. So if I close my audio, the next thing I need to put is a source. Where is that source coming from? And this source, it has an src attribute, which I'll say go into a folder called multimedia. So you can see, then play sample dot sound1.mp3, then close that source like that. Now, if I refresh my page, um, do I have it here? It should be before took. So let me just, oh, I put it inside the iframe. No, it's not inside the iframe, it's outside. So let me just remove the iframe. So I have not specified the type. That's the problem. So I didn't specify the type of the file. So when you're talking about music, it should be audio or MPEG. So this one should be inside here. That's the only time the browser will know what it means. And it's not supposed to play it. Okay. It's not playing it because I didn't put the source. So I just put controls here so that the controls are able to be shown. So you can now see it is actually now showing. Okay. So if you don't
Yeah.
put controls, it will not show. If you put controls, it shows now. It asks you if you want to play it. So if I play it, okay.
Yeah.
So that's how you play. That's how you add file. How you add multimedia. Now there are there's another thing here that I'm forgetting. Just in case your browser does not support multimedia, because you could be using an older browser, I can put here a text that tells that outputs the user that you're expecting to play audio from them, but then they don't have their browser does not support audio, so you can't play it. So here I'll simply put something like your browser does not support audio. Okay.
Yeah.
So I believe 99% right now are supporting audio, and that is how we are able to actually have this meeting. Otherwise, if it was not supporting audio, then we will not be able to have this meeting.
Me too.
Yes. Are we together?
Yeah.
Do I go on? You want to try it out?
Let me try it out.
Okay. Success.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay, yeah?
Yeah,
Perfect. So now, the other thing about this audio, as you can see, when I put controls, it automatically allows me to have that. But sometimes I want it to start and I want it to load the page and I want it to play automatically. So I don't need to play like that. Okay? I want it to load
yeah,
and start automatically. So if I wanted to do that, I'll simply say auto play.
true. Okay, true.
You see what it does? Automatically it just loads and plays. Yeah?
Yeah,
So now you can see I move controls. So let's say it's moving up and down. I don't have to. So if I want to push play, simply say auto play. So it will start, but then I can stop it if I need to.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Now sometimes I might want to start it, but I want it muted, so I'll simply say muted. So you can see it's actually playing, but it is muted. All right.
yeah.
So that is how you control your how you add audio inside your HTML pages. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, let's go to another way of adding other things into your HTML pages, which in this other case, I want to add video. Adding videos to your pages. Now, to add videos to your pages, besides audio, there's also another video element that you can add to your page. So video also behaves more like um, like audio, but let's just put the video first of all on its own. So I'll put video, then down here I'll put the source of the video, then I'll put the source is now inside my folder. I created a file here called multimedia. Then I have web m, this sample web m. Okay. So what I'm
Yeah.
going to do, I'm going to say, go into multimedia folder and look for WebM like that. So when I play that, you can see it has actually taken a bit of my screen real estate. It's really big. So maybe I can go ahead and reduce the size a bit. So I can come here and I'll say width is 400 pixels. Width is equals 400 pixels. Well, okay, 400. So now that makes it a little bit more reasonable. Okay? So maybe if I
Ah,
put a paragraph down here so that it is appearing on its own line. So yes, so I have this video over here. Nothing is happening. So I might want to come here and add controls like that. Now that gives me controls to play the video, maximize it, and other actions that I can put here. Okay? So you can see the video is
Okay,
actually
this is a sample video just to demonstrate that.
all right. Again, similar to audio, I can automatically play it when it starts. So remember, if I just refresh this page, it does not play automatically. So if I wanted it to play automatically, I would say auto play. So it means that it's going to automatically start playing. I don't need to click on it. It's going to automatically start playing when when uh, when the video is loaded. I might also want to mute it. So I can say muted when
muted.
muted. So you can see now it's going to start, but it's actually muted down here. Okay?
Mm.
So that's how you add videos to your page. This is very important because sometimes you have a new product you want to launch, you want to tell people about the new features that you've put on your application and those kinds of things. So the moment they go to your web page, they're able to watch that video. So you can start it muted, you can wait for them to play it, or you can start it in full screen or whatever it is that you feel is going to be useful to your end users. You can actually play it like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. You want to try that out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Almost done.
No, no, no. I'm just saying sorry. You have that. There's something like a bang there.
Okay. It's okay.
It's okay, right?
Yeah.
Now, the other way is sometimes appending this audio and video. Well, before we even look at that, let's look at supported file formats. Because this one is going to advise us on how next we can handle some of these things. Now we have some various supported file formats. Usually, most browsers at the moment will support what we call MP3. Before there's OOG and there's MKV. Most of them support WebM. Which other one is very popular? Again, video, I forgot to put something here. Um, type.
Yeah.
Type should either be video, then I'll say this is a WebM file, like that. So, well, the good thing is that it has noticed what it is, but ideally, I should be telling it the type of file that I am appending so it knows how to handle it. Okay? So we have WebM. We also have other video formats that are supported. I think most of them support AVI. It's an older video file format. There's WebM, there's ABVI. There's also WMV, Windows Media File. Then Apple had also had theirs called MOV. I also think they support Flash. Flash is a very old, it's FLV, Flash video file. Is there any other that is being supported that I know of? I don't think, but these ones are major ones that you can have. This is audio, the rest are actually video. Now, audio, you can also have MIDI, it is also supported by most browsers, not all, but most browsers. So when it comes to audio, we have MP3, we have MIDI, and also other audio formats that you might have, like WMV is audio and video, um, and those kind of things. So as you are looking into the file formats, make sure that your file formats are the ones that are supported. You can just look up supported video and audio files per browser. So you can check by browser,
Yeah.
by browser, by browser. So maybe you can have something. Yeah, you can have. You can do as an image so that you are able to see just a browser and what it supports. So if I click something like this, I should be able to see that these are the file formats that are supported. So we have for audio, we have MP4, it's supported by Safari. We have ACC, it's supported by some browsers. So you can be able to get what is being supported and now work on your project as appropriate. Okay? But
Oh,
again, these file formats I've mentioned here, most of them are fully supported. Okay?
yeah.
So again, um, just pick your browser, check the file type that you want to use. Then, but I think fairly right now, fairly most of them support almost all the audio formats that most of the audio formats that we have. That's what I want to believe because I've not never tried it and I've seen they don't work. So you can see here, video is MPEG, WebM, and OGG. These are the standard support. Then when it comes to MOVs, the default for Mac users, however, it's not supported by all the browsers. So you'll find that it's supported by their own the Safari as the browser. So for images, we had looked at this before. So these are the image files that are supported. That's video, that's audio, and so forth and so forth. So you can be able to just search that so that now you are able to know what kind of files are acceptable. Now, with that in mind, you realize that now we have another challenge, which is now converting these audio files so that we can now be able to use them within our browser. Okay, so in short, I'll
Mm.
have to convert the multimedia that I have to these formats that are being supported by browsers so that you can play them easily. And that is a bit of a problem because one thing is if you load these things directly on your site, they make your site very slow because they are huge. The other downside is you have to format them in what the browser accepts, and that is another headache altogether. So the alternative to that is to link these audio files from YouTube. So you can be able to link these audio files from YouTube. So I'll put a paragraph here, then I'll say, sorry, lowercase. So you can link from YouTube. Now, what advantage does that give you? One, first of all, you don't need to format your files. So there's no need to format your files to acceptable formats. So no need to format your files for acceptable formats. So that's one of the advantages that you have with that. The other one is they'll do the loading for you. So there is not so much load on your website because you're basically playing it from YouTube. So no load on your website as the videos are played directly from YouTube, right? Like that. So, and then of course, YouTube will also do caching for you. So they will send the user this to the server that is closest to them. So there's a lot of things that they're going to do to optimize your multimedia and stuff like that. So you don't have to have the headache of now trying to figure out how how you're going to do load balancing, how many resources you're going to put on your server, how you're going to handle different file formats that are not supported, all that kind of stuff. If you are to update the video, how caching is going to be done, and all these other things. So that's the advantage that you get by linking from YouTube. Now, how do you link to YouTube? Simple. We have talked about it. It's called iframe. So we can actually use iframe to play a YouTube video. So let me show you how we will do it. So just go to YouTube, pick a video. Let me say this video over here. Right click on it. Then you say copy embedded code. This code over here. Now, if I come with that code and I paste it inside here, you'll actually see it's just an iframe. Let me just put it down like this. You'll see it's actually just an iframe that has some certain properties and allows you to be able to play it directly on your site. So we have that. Okay. So if I put that
Yeah.
inside, then I come back to my site like so. You can see now I have the video over here. Okay. I can change the size by the way. Instead of the width of 752, I can use maybe say 500. So you can see it becomes smaller. But then I can also reduce these ones to 400. Then with that, I can actually play the video. This is actually from YouTube, but playing inside my website. Okay?
Yeah.
So you can see how interesting that is. So iframes
Yeah.
will allow me to be able to load movies from YouTube. Then, of course, I'll be able to now go ahead and uh, uh, play them directly from my site without necessarily having the headache of converting the videos from one format to another, load balancing them, sending a cached version of it, and all these kinds of stuff. Okay. The only thing you need to be sure to make sure is that you don't link to copyrighted materials without express authority from the owner. Okay. If the things that are copyrighted, don't copy them. Don't copy them exclusively. Don't copy them directly. Just make sure that you get express permission from the owner. Now, the other thing that you might want to put here is if you want the video to start muted, you can come here and add some other flags. So, for example, if I wanted to hide the controls so the user does not see the controls, I can simply say put here and I can actually put question mark and I'll say controls is equals to 0. You can see now I don't have controls, right? So the user cannot go to next, they cannot go to previous or something like that. Okay. Now, if I want them to if I want this video to automatically play when the page loads, I'll simply say auto play is equals to 1. So with this page loads,
Nah, I scared you, huh?
okay. So I can only pause
Yeah.
it, but I cannot go next or previous or things like that. All right.
Yeah.
If I wanted it muted by default, I'll also say and mute is equals to 1. So it will play it, but it will be muted by default. So you can see it doesn't have audio. Okay? So we can go on and on as far as this is concerned. Okay, so you can see the good thing with this is I can still be able to have items on my site, and then from there it can be able to just play on my site without necessarily having the user being able to disable it or mute it or do things like that. Though it's usually a good idea to give the user controls so that now they can be able to control the multimedia. So if I put control 1 equals that, so now you can see I have the controls down here. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing about YouTube is you might want to play this thing in a loop. So if I come here and I add and loop is equals to 1, it's just going to play this video over and over again. So for example, when this video comes and it finishes, like that, it's just going to play it all over again. So if you're doing something like an advertisement or something of the sort, I can't be able to actually play it over and over again. So it has ended, as you can see over there. So it should be able to just loop back and it can play over and over and over again. So it will be able to play over and over and over again, something of the sort. But of course, with that, then you'll remove the controls because now you don't want the user to be able to stop it. So automatically you would put controls is zero, question mark rather, controls is equals to zero, and autoplay and muted. So it will just start playing and it will continue playing over and over again until the user exits the website or something like that. So it could be some background music, for example, that you're using to soothe your users or whatever it is that you feel is appropriate. Okay?
Oh,
Yes, so that's how you use YouTube. So the good thing here is I've put a referral policy. You can see this is cross origin is what was actually a problem as far as embedding other sites were concerned. So YouTube has given us the cross origin here, so that takes care of it. And now we're able to play files from YouTube directly. All right.
yeah,
You can see this is interesting, and these are very useful tools when it comes to now starting to build your own website with some very nice features. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
you want to try that out?
yeah.
Okay, please do. But again, it's just an iframe as we had discussed before. The only thing is that we've now picked the iframe from YouTube directly. So that makes it a little bit more interesting. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you can try it out, then we can look at something else.
It's okay.
It's okay, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's good. So now let's just look at one other thing. Actually, they are more like uh, uh, four things together. So we have what we call um, um, types of elements, and these ones are going to help us when it comes to formatting, which is what we want to start from our next class. So we have what we call block level elements. For example, things like paragraphs, things like anything that has a closing tag, more or less, is a block level element. So it means that it can display on the entire width. So if I put a paragraph, it covers the entire width. Then you also have what you call inline elements. These are things that don't cover the whole width, something like an image, as you can see over here, a video, an audio, line break, and all those kind of things. So they don't really cover the whole screen, but rather they can be stacked side by side. So in short, if I put a paragraph here and I say hello, then I now put another, maybe say just some image here, and I put something like that. So you can see the paragraph It's on its own line, but the image is okay. Maybe I can start with the width to be 200 pixels, so it's small enough. So if I put an image, if I put uh, an image here, then I come here and I'll simply say again hello. So you can see this hello on the image, they're on one line, right? But if I put another hello here, hello from another side, you can see this hello from another side is actually below this hello because this hello has covered the whole length of the screen. So that's why we're calling it block level. So this paragraph is a block level element. It blocks everything from the beginning of that line to the end of that line. The other things like image, like video, like audio, iframe, and those kind of things, they are inline level elements, which means that they don't cover the whole screen, but basically where they've been defined to be contained. And that's very, very important for us to know. Since we are going to be doing styling, we're going to be styling block level elements and inline level elements. So we need the two. Are we together for that point?
Yeah.
I just need you to understand that it will be applicable when you're doing our styling. Now, besides these elements that we have looked at, there are other elements that you can use on our page. And these elements are called divs. Div like that. Div is a division. It helps us to define, it's part of the HTML semantics. It's not a requirement for you to use. It doesn't make a difference, but say a div, definitely it is something that both the developer and the browser understand. Okay? So when I say
Yeah.
div is a block level element. It creates a division where I can be able to put my text. So I can say here, hello, text from div. So if I come down here, you'll see that hello text from div is on its own line. So it has created a line after this hello. Then if I was to put another text down here, then I'll say another text. You'll see that that another text is outside that line where the div has been defined. So div helps us create a division which is a block level element. Then the content of that particular div will cover, will block the entire line, so to speak. Okay?
Yeah.
We have others, like for example, nav. Nav is for creating navigation. So if I want to create navigation, I'll put nav. So from here, I can put another list with three list items, each of which has an anchor that points to itself. So I need to put three. Then I put an anchor like that. Then I just put hashes. Okay. So if I do it
Yeah.
like that, the browser knows that I'm talking about a navigation. And I'm also talking about a div. So nav is also a block level element. It's going to create, you can say I have here home, I can put products and contact us. We're going to look at this in practice, don't worry. I just want us to understand what they mean. So if I put contact us, you can see it has created its own line, top and bottom, and then because that is actually a nav. We also have sections. I can put section over here. Section are the things that we want to display that belong to a similar group. So maybe I can say a section. These are the courses being offered. So maybe AH5 courses offered, something like that. So I'll put all the courses being offered down here. Okay. Then I can also have an article. An article is something that it can be downloaded on its own. It's independent of your website. So it could be something like you want to discuss about importance of say engineering subjects. So I can put here it has maybe say a heading, maybe say heading, maybe H4, H5, H6, importance of sciences. Then down here I can have an image. Then I can have some text. So I can have an image here, goes to images. Then maybe I want to have it that. Then after that image, That's a very large image. So maybe let me put the width to be at 200 pixels, like that. So you can see now I have this item. Then of course down here I can have my paragraph and I say lorem 50, 50. This is an example of an article. This is an example of an article. So it means that this particular portion can be downloaded on its own, independent of the website. So we call them blog posts. So when you're talking about these these block level elements, we're talking about what we call HTML. Uh, uh, it's not special characters. What term is this? I'm kind of like forgetting the terminology. They're called goodness. What happened to me today? Well, anyway, they have special meaning to both the developer semantics. They're called HTML semantics. These ones are called HTML semantics. They're not a must, but when you use them, HTML semantics, they're not important, but when you use them, they make sense to both the developer and the browser. So when I say div, they know what it is. We can also have span. Span is an inline element, and I can say this is inline text. This one does not cover the whole screen. It is basically put in between. So maybe I want to put your name, I want to put price of something. Usually I'll put them inside a span. So when I say span, it means just create for me a space where I want to put some text that does something like this, so to speak. So semantics help us, both developers and the machine, to be able to understand what is going on the browser. Okay, so you can have heading, you can have header, by the way. There's also a header. Header means it's at the top of the page, like that. Header means top of the page. Div means some section on the page. Span means some place where I can type some things. Navigation means I'm creating a navigation where it's going to be on the top, on the bottom, right, or left. Section are things that are grouped together. Articles, things that can be downloaded independent of um, the website, something like a blog post or something of the sort. Then you also have footer, as I had used over here at the bottom of the page. So when you use them nicely, it makes it very, very easier for you to understand what's going on the page versus the browser. The browser also knows exactly how your page is organized. So when it comes to search engine optimization, it becomes a little bit more efficient. Okay?
Yeah.
So I think I'll take a break at that. And with that, I think I'll take some short break from HTML. I'm not saying you're not going to use it. We are going to use it
Yeah.
a lot. But now we'll be focusing on how to automate it. Okay?
Yeah.
So this was understanding how it is built. What are the building blocks? Then next we want to say, now that you know these building blocks, how do we put them together to come up with a nice looking website presenting everything that we know? We'll change a few things as far as fonts are concerned, background, font styles, colors. We'll add icons and all these kinds of things to make it look nicer.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I think from our next class, we'll start looking at something called CSS or cascaded style sheets, and we're going to see how these other powerful technologies. So you can see HTML on its own is pretty powerful enough because it allows us to be able to represent content on a web page. But then this content is just static. It's the same content. It doesn't change. But then we want to be able to make sure that moving forward, we style these things so that it looks so nice, and then we go to another level where we can now be able to make the content dynamic. I mean, whatever you see and somebody else sees could probably be very, very different things, right?
Yeah.
Any question up to that point?
No.
So you can see there's a lot of practice you need to do,
Yeah.
because you need to understand what it is, how they are put together. Actually, the semantics are important, but we are going to go along with them as we move inside the inside the other realms that we're going to look at, like CSS and JavaScript. But you just need to read about them kidogo too, so you know what a div does, what a span does, what nav does, what section does, what header does, what footer does, what aside does, and so forth and so forth. There's also another called aside,
Yeah.
like that. It allows you to put something on the side. It could be an advertisement, it could be maybe a notification, anything that you want to grab the user's attention on the side of your page, so that kind of a thing. So they are more like self-explanatory as far as the developer is concerned. Then they are more also self-explanatory as far as the browser is concerned. Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. So I think I'll take a break of that unless you have a question.
No, just do practice, and then if you have a problem, I'll tell you.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
Just reach out in case you have a problem, then we can see how to sort it out.
Okay.
Okay, enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too. Have a nice day.
Okay.